Hello, Renetto. I'm the Mass Analyst. I'm sorry to see you're leaving YouTube, and I can understand your frustrations. I can sort of sympathize with your situation, and in a way I admire what you're doing with trying to set up an alternative site. There are a lot of things that have been frustrating about YouTube. You may not know this, but I was banned from YouTube back in December. You probably know that. You may not know that they let me back a couple of weeks ago. I'm not really sure why they let me back on. I was originally banned for a supposed copyright infringement. It was totally bullshit. The case was totally bullshit. What happened is, back in July, Red Skull had posted a veiled death threat against me. He had previously posted a couple of DMCAs against me, and then in December he sent into YouTube a totally 100% bogus DMCA. Firefly 515 had posted a video. He asked people to upload his video in support of him. He had been suspended and he wanted to get the word out. I reposted his video, and all you had to do was look at the video and you would see him begging others to repost it. Well, Red Skull sent in a DMCA to YouTube, and YouTube, seeing that it was my third infringement, took down, suspended my channel. Now, I wrote back to YouTube. I wrote back to Harry the Lawyer Bot on YouTube, and I asked him, hey, can you look at this video? Only takes a few minutes to look at it. You'll see I had permission. No go. So they had decided that I was this mastermind copyright thief, which was totally bullshit. Now, according to their recent revisions of their YouTube terms of service, they're now letting people back on, except for those who have violated copyright. It's still, if you're 3 strikes, you're out forever, which kind of perplexes me as to why they let me back in. If they really believed that I was a copyright thief, then they shouldn't have let me back on in the first place. Why they let me back on? Maybe they finally realized after 4 months of banishment, maybe someone got around looking at it and say, hey, we can let the guy back on, it was totally bogus. Now, why it took them 4 months, I don't know. Well, in the meantime, during my time in exile, I did not come back on, and I'll tell you why. A lot of people, when they're banned, they come back onto YouTube. I'll tell you why. Sort of has to do with a philosophical disagreement I had with Gypsy K. Okay, this is getting off on a sidetrack. Gypsy K, about a week or 2 ago, made a video in which he said, hey, what's the big deal about YouTube? It's just a website. It's just another website. Well, it's not just another website. There's something very special, very important about YouTube. It's the nexus of the internet. It's, as they put it, as YouTube, one of YouTube's editor put it in a blog post on March 31st, YouTube is the world's largest town hall. If you want to have any chance to interact with any of the presidential candidates, YouTube is the place to be. This is where CNN had their debates. The Queen of Jordan has posted a video asking for people to ask questions about the stereotypes of Arabs. YouTube has a Living Legends channel where people can interact with prominent artists and prominent people today. YouTube has situated itself centrally that if you want to have your voice heard by a large spectrum of people, this is the place to be. I appreciate your trying to establish another website, and you could have the best technology in the world, but unless there's a mass movement, and I don't see that happening because people aren't going to move away from here just because YouTube has developed such a critical mass, and I really don't see how another site can build that and can replace that. It would be great if they could, but it looks to me like YouTube, for the foreseeable future, is the only game in town, just because there's such a wealth of videos here, so many people are here, and nobody wants to leave behind what's here. It's going to be very hard for anyone to compete. Since this is the case, and again, it would be great if there could be another site that would replace YouTube, that became as important as YouTube, where the people who ran it had a greater sense of community. But since I don't think that's going to happen, reform at YouTube has to happen. Now, getting back to what I did during the time I was in exile. I didn't come back to YouTube. I wanted to play within their rules. I knew that it said that when you're banished, you may not come back again. That would just be another violation of the terms of service. So what I did is I built a website. It took me quite a while. I studied the Digital Millennium Copyright Act in a great deal of detail. I built a website because, quite truthfully, I think it's unconstitutional, and here's why. I could have filed a counter DMCA notice to counteract the bogus DMCA claim. However, in order to do that, I have to sign my real name and address to it. And YouTube is forced by law, if they're going to try and get the DMCA protections, they're forced by law to turn that over to the person who filed the DMCA. That person having been Red Skull, who had previously made a death threat against me. Now, he probably wouldn't have carried out the threat, but I think he might be not altogether there sometimes. It could just be an act, I don't know, but he's an individual I'd rather not have known my name. So YouTube was putting me in a position, YouTube and the DMCA were putting me in an untenable position. Either I filed the DMCA with my name, in which case he gets my name and address, which I don't want, or I could file with a false name, in which case I'd be committing perjury. So I saw it as my mission to write a website, to put up a website explaining why the DMCA is unconstitutional, why it must be reformed, and how anyone could use and abuse the DMCA to get anyone else's account removed, suspended from YouTube. I did this not because I wanted to see a lot of people wrongly suspended. I did this so that YouTube would change the way it enforces the DMCA. Right now, anyone can, as I mentioned, anyone can abuse the DMCA in order to get anyone else's account suspended. I don't want to see that situation. I don't want to see anyone else have to go through what I went through. Now, if there's one thing that I can accomplish here, if there's one thing that I want to accomplish here, no matter how small the chances, it's to get YouTube to change the way it does things, to change the way it implements the DMCA. It's not required by the DMCA to have a 3 strikes and you're out policy, no matter whether you were following fair use or not, no matter whether you were even copying other people's videos or not. All I want for YouTube is, before they suspend people, to examine, hey, has copying really taken place? And if so, was the copying, did it fall within the fair use guidelines? If it fell within fair use, the DMCA does not really require account suspensions, despite what YouTube might want to have you believe. So I wrote up an extensive website. I was kind of surprised a couple of weeks when they let me back on. And I made about an hour's worth of videos, about 6 multi-part videos. And I'm hoping that YouTube will change. Now, what does this have to do with you when you're leaving of YouTube? Well, you are specially situated. YouTube might not like you very much right now, but you have over 38,000 subscribers. You're in a position to get the word out. I know you care passionately about these sort of things, and I'm sure that if you build a website, that this sort of crap isn't going to happen on your website. What I'm asking of you, Robinett, is to reconsider. Because you're in a position where a lot of people watch you, whereas I only have a few hundred subscribers. I have, I think, about 700 subscribers, and I bet about half of them are sock accounts, and my guess is probably only a couple hundred people watch me on a semi-regular basis. But you have the ability to get the word out, and I'm hoping that you'll take a look at my website, take a look at the videos I made about 2 weeks ago, and I'll post some links in the sidebar. Try and understand what happened, and use your voice to call out. I know that the people at YouTube don't like you in general, but if you can add a little pressure on them and make them feel a little bit of heat, maybe embarrass them a little bit about the way they have totally abdicated their responsibility to the community, and how someone could be barred from their site forever for when they didn't do anything wrong. Now, being forced out of YouTube is almost as bad as being deprived of the right to vote. I mean, you're being forced out of the one place where your voice has a chance to be heard by a large audience, by prominent people. And to be disempowered like that without doing anything wrong is, well, let's put it this way. It doesn't follow Google's corporate motto of "don't be evil." I'm hoping that you, Robinett, will have second thoughts, and I'm hoping you'll act on this, and I'm hoping that maybe you can help make YouTube live up to the Google motto of "don't be evil," as opposed to YouTube's current unofficial motto, which they'll never admit that this is their motto, but their motto right now appears to be "fuck fair use." Paul, I'm going to make a guess as to what you're thinking right now. I'm going to guess that you're thinking, hey, wait a second, I've been knocking my head trying to get YouTube to reform for months. You're not telling me anything new, Mass Analyst. I've been saying pretty much the same thing, that they've unfairly suspended people, that it's wrong to suspend people forever and ever and ever. I've been knocking my head against them, and I've been making videos about this sort of thing for months. And I want to say right now, yes, you have. And I really, really appreciate what you have done. In fact, you gave me some hope during the time that I was in exile. You were truly inspirational in some of your latter videos. I can't express how much I appreciated what you did in the past few months. But I'm just going to ask you not to give up now. Don't give up just yet. Go ahead and go on with your other project. I think that's great that you're doing it, and I really am hoping that it will be successful. But I think that it's premature at this point still to totally give up. I'm hoping that if you'll make a diligent effort to at least raise this issue to the broader community, I'm hoping that you and maybe the YourTube advocate and maybe some of the other partners, I know, and some of the other big voices, I'm hoping that they'll start to make their voices heard on the issue too. I'm hoping that you're not just going to be the lone voice in the wilderness. It's one thing that the big partners need to realize, that at least if YouTube was to follow the same rules with them as they follow with anyone else, that their accounts are just as vulnerable as any of ours. Now, it's possible that YouTube could say, whoa, these people are the gods of YouTube's. They get special rules. They get special dispensation. They don't have to wallow in the same muck as the regular peons. And maybe they are above having their accounts suspended. I don't know. But I'm hoping that you'll be able to persuade some of the other top YouTubers to chime in as well. So whatever you do, Robinett, I'm hoping you'll seriously consider this. Look into some of the things that I'm posting in the sidebar, some of my videos and my website. And if you do decide to try and apply a little more pressure to not give up, that's absolutely wonderful. Even if you decide that you'd rather spend your time building your own website, I can certainly understand, and I really want to wish you the best of luck. I would love to see that take off. Well, this has been the Mass Analyst, under and in.